Could a second stimulus check be blocked by Senate Republicans? That's the shocking news for today, Wednesday, May 13th. This is LALATE, as always. Thanks for tuning in, and like and subscribe and drop your comments below. We may feature them in tomorrow's video. We have 25 comments of them now we're going to get to shortly from Tuesday's recording. But first, the news. Shocking details out of Washington today. After we thought earlier this week that a vote for a second stimulus check could be approved by the end of this week, we're now hearing from Senate Republicans that they are vowing to block any second stimulus check. What do you think about that? Earlier this week, we had heard from President Trump that he had thrown his back behind a second stimulus check, saying, quote, "I want to see a payroll tax cut as well. We have not done anything. We are not going to do anything until we get a payroll tax cut." A payroll tax cut would help with jobs, but it wouldn't necessarily help with the unemployed, though. But then came this shocking tweet from Senator John Barrasso that was then retweeted by the Senate GOP Twitter account. It said, "So let me state the obvious. What Nancy Pelosi is proposing will never pass the Senate. Republicans know what we are focused on. We're focused on helping American families. The proposed legislation is a self-described bold response to the coronavirus pandemic and the economic collapse. And it would be cushion the economic blow to the economic crisis." Well, this is sort of shocking. The Senate Republicans don't want the proposal, of which there's actually now 3, of a second stimulus check to come to a vote in the Senate, even if it passes the House. The goal of the second stimulus check is, quote, to in part put as much needed money in the hands and pockets of American people, says Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. But you can watch Pelosi and other California Democrats who are urged for a second stimulus check, and now, at least now, the Senate Republicans are saying not going to happen. The question is what's going to unfold. LALATE has been reporting all this week that a second stimulus check should come for a vote by this Friday. Then it appears it's going to be next week. The amount of the second stimulus check could be anywhere from $2,000 as a single check to $1,200 over 6 months, each single month. As LA has been reporting, under the CARES Act 1, you were supposed to get 2 stimulus checks. You were supposed to get a first stimulus check in March for the month of April, and then one in April for the month of May, one in April for the month of March. But, you know, by the time CARES Act 1 came to a vote, it was reduced to a single check. Now, as you're sitting here, you have been unpaid for 2 months of a stay-at-home order, and Republicans are saying, hey, we're not going to do it. We're not, in their own words, we're not going to allow a welfare state. Is that correct? Well, let's get to your comments and see what you think. Lackey says, I don't know why this is so hard. Americans are not supposed to be paying for anything, but our debt is supposed to be prepaid because the U.S. government as a corporation took away the goods. Since they stole from the American people, their remedy is to prepay our debt. That hiding amongst the laws, the U.S. opened the unlimited accounts in our name. This back and forth crap is how we're going to take our tax dollars. It's stupid. Very well said. And you know what's interesting is on Sunday morning news, Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary in White House, said that he was in favor of reducing the taxes that appear on your checks now in May going forward, so that you, as the working citizen, can retain more of your dollars. But that doesn't answer the question of the second stimulus check. I mean, you were paid in April for the month of March, but you were never paid in the month of May for the month of April. So where's the second stimulus check? And most of the proposals have called for stimulus checks for several months. Steve Mnuchin, of course, once said that you can live on $1,200 for 3 months. Do you think that's right? King Cap says, hey, I think 6 to 12 months of stimulus is needed, especially if they believe another wave is coming, which means another shutdown. Exactly. LALATE's opinion is the following, that if you're going to anticipate a second stimulus, if you're going to anticipate a second pandemic, which the CDC is now warning, and you anticipate a second shutdown, which everyone is now warning as well, then propose a second stimulus check now. Why wait? The problem with Congress is that they seem to do things after the fact, do things proactively. CDC is warning that 250,000 new cases of coronavirus will be anticipated to hit the United States as early as late May and possibly into June, with 3,000 deaths per day. The current number is approximately 25,000 cases per day. In fact, in California, we saw a shocking announcement yesterday. LA County said that they may keep the stay-at-home order in some regards still live into July because death numbers have not improved. In fact, if you're going to talk about a second stimulus check, let's look at California. Gavin Newsom, which has talked about guidelines as to how medicine will guide stay-at-home orders. But with California and New York as the worst hit states, here's the details. A new LA Times report says that 98% of counties in California have not shown a slowdown in coronavirus cases over a 14-day period before today. In fact, it shows the numbers rising. So if numbers of coronavirus cases are rising, then why has Congress not risen on its own regard to get a second stimulus check passed? Don Keener never said it's okay to take Social Security, but I've been waiting for a while now. Good point. FaZe Rocks says, thank you for clearing it up. Well, thank you for tuning in. Tony Kitchen, I love your channel. Now I'm stoked. Well, thank you, Tony. And thank you for reading my comment on air. Well, thank you for commenting again, and you're being read on air today. Thank you so much. I feel like the rest of the people, the day is being fulfilled after listening to you. God bless you all. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And watch our other video today on helping small businesses. Your videos are so accurate in my book. Please keep on posting even after this virus. Promise to watch it. Well, thank you, Tony. We will promise to keep on recording. Eric, great job. Appreciate your work. Well, thank you, Eric. Tony, moving now is time to borrow. Interest rates are low, especially print those greens. I always like my subscriptions. Yes, if the interest rates are low and you are able to meet those obligations, you can take on debt. Absolutely. Scott, LALATE, you're far the best and most informative on this subject, COVID-19. Keep up the awesome work. Well, thank you so much. That's very kind. And thank you for tuning in. But comment on today what you think about this statement by Senate Republicans about not giving you a second stimulus check or blocking it if it comes to the Senate. Shannon Desiree, thank you so much for your time and effort to put into the channel. Absolutely look forward to your very informative video. Stay safe. Well, thank you, Shannon. I hope you and your family are staying safe as well. Comment on what you think about today's development. Logan, want to be friends? Yes. Ricardo, lots of emojis. Well, thank you for the emojis. Kathy, you're so awesome and informative how you are helpful to us. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. This is a novel idea. Why don't we pause on paying all these politicians their ridiculous salary until they pay us? How about they pass a bill for only the people? And great point. Alec was not mincing his words yesterday when referring to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell says, hey, he doesn't know enough financial details before he can pass a second stimulus check. Mitch, yes, you do. On Sunday, Steve Mnuchin appeared on Morning News, and he said that the current unemployment rate is far worse than is currently reported. He believes the unemployment rate is 25%. If Senator Mitch McConnell does not understand what the unemployment rate is, cannot understand what Steve Mnuchin is saying, then maybe he should give up his pay. Rosie Kaur, I applied for PUA on April 28th. My work was impacted on March 16th. Today I received certification claims. Aren't they supposed to pay March 16th forward, backward? Yes, they are. It's supposed to pay retroactive. Eileen, I hope I get a second stimulus check. I hope you do too. I hope we all do. I got $1,200 and $500 from my 10-year-old. Oh, wonderful. But my 17-year-old didn't get anything. Awful. See, this is one of the problems. The problems with the second stimulus check is who will get the check, especially these dependents. How many dependents? How about adult dependents? All these type of issues. They want to give me a one-time payment again for $1,200 for all those dependents and $500 payment for the defendants the first round. That money will not last. Exactly. The point that senators and congressmen are not getting is $1,200 doesn't go a long way, and it barely goes 30 days. So stop tooting your horn that you gave someone $1,200 2 months ago and think that that's going to be a stimulus for anything. The biggest issue here is consumer confidence. Consumer confidence is what drives a lot of things in the American economy. It drives the stock market. It drives purchase orders. It drives a lot of things. And so if consumer confidence is down because you haven't given them a stimulus checks, then it's all your fault, members of Congress. Patricia, thank you for Lydia, thank you for sharing. Well, thank you for tuning in. Patricia, no money haven't gotten the first stimulus direct deposit, won't get the second one if they don't have a place to starve. Awful, Patricia. And I've noted your comment before. That's awful. We detailed in our story yesterday on the second stimulus check that the overwhelming number of U.S. citizens polled, overwhelming, wanted a second stimulus check. So that's the core issue, is that these Republicans are sitting back and acting like their constituents don't want a second stimulus check. Absolutely not. Republican and Democratic citizens that are from both parties overwhelmingly are demanding a second stimulus check. It's only certain members of Congress that don't want to give you a second stimulus check. The other thing in response to the last comment is that the vast majority of U.S. citizens polled think that the second stimulus check should come by direct deposit. Many people, especially those of you who have watched this channel, have detailed greatly the difficulty you had in getting your first stimulus check. The problem is the following. Today is Wednesday, and a deadline has now passed. If you did not get your first stimulus check and did not register your banking information into the IRS's website, as we indicated in our stories over the last few days, then you're receiving a paper check. That paper check for the first stimulus check could come as late as June, which is unfortunate. A lot of great details. Thank you for your comments. Comment on today's video, and thank you for staying to the end. As always, stay with LA for more.